Welcome to Pointless Rewind, where I'm going to sarcastically guide you through the featured contract, the Naughties Termination. This isn't going to be a how-to guide, this is more of a how I did this really stupidly and ineffectively guide. And if you for some reason like that, then please like and subscribe, and let's get started on this contract. This contract has 3 targets, all of whom need to be killed with explosive devices while wearing the exterminator device. Exterminator device? What the hell is that? The exterminator disguise. 47's already wearing that exterminator device. Device! Why can't I get this right? Disguise. Anyway, he grabs this remote explosive device and then hops that fence over to his target's house. He then skulks around a bit, shooting out this camera, and then hops into the backyard after this guard walks away. This being my first attempt, I don't mind failing sub-objectives left and right. Non-target kills and incorrect disguises are open season. So 47 kills this guard, steals his disguise, and now should have a pretty easy time scouting out the mission. He takes out this other camera, and then walks on into the house to scope out the area. He notes 2 of his targets milling about upstairs, but then he's distracted by this guy guarding the surveillance equipment. For some reason, 47 decides to punk that guy by walking directly into him, which prompts this nervous reaction.
I'm feeling very vulnerable today, so can you back off?
This backfires for that guy. 47 just inches closer and closer just to get under that guy's skin. Luckily, this enforcer, who happens to be 47's target, the Hammer, walks in. Enforcers are good at detecting intruders, but also at discipline, and 47 doesn't want to get in trouble, so he goes off to pretend to do some work. He goes and looks for an explosive device and doesn't find one. Then he heads back to the kitchen and is shocked to find that guy still talking to the Hammer. Is he telling on him? That is just messed up. Once that conversation's done, 47, just to mess with him, tosses this fire extinguisher in between this guy and the target. No one seems to know what to do.
Command, I just heard a weird noise. I'm moving in to investigate.
Dude, you needed to ask for permission to investigate that? That happened like an inch away. Yeah, this is not the cream of the crop. Then again, 47's not doing too much better because after he searches his bathroom for an explosive device, he can't resist picking on this guy again. When he turns his back, 47 goes and disables the security and probably switches his screensaver to some porn, which leads to this guy finally cracking under the pressure. However, 47's easily able to get the jump on this guy. He was probably a bit flustered from having shot at 47 without actually asking for permission. So this is a mess. 47 was using this run to figure out target routines, item locations, and plan his next attempt. And he did none of that. Instead, he's sneaking out of this garage and over this fence, trying to avoid getting killed. He's able to avoid detection as he sneaks back behind the target's house. The Hammer arrives shortly thereafter, obviously looking for 47. But as soon as he enters these shrubs, he turns and stares at the fence door. Like, what was his plan? Well, maybe he wanted posthumous credit for getting 47 killed because his death allows the rest of the guards to track where 47 is. They chase him back into Batty's yard, and then they hunt him down like a dog inside of Batty's shed. Having learned nothing useful during that first attempt, this second attempt acts as a redo of the first attempt. Things start out the exact same way. I go to take out these 2 cameras. The first one's a cinch. The second one is extremely challenging. After 47 is finally able to take that camera out with a 4th shot, he hops the fence, he steals the guard's disguise and gun, and marches into the house. However, now he has to wait for his targets, and he can't resist picking on this guy again by messing with his computer. But when the Hammer comes downstairs, 47 manages to duck into the bathroom just in time to not get into trouble, and now he's finally ready to start some actual work. And as someone whose job stifles their creativity at all turns, it's nice to see that 47 is free to be as creative as he'd like to be, as he pairs an explosive rubber ducky with a hammer. While everyone is freaking out, he climbs up this downspout up to the 2nd floor where 2 more of his targets await. He cautiously enters into the armory. Man, if he thought that guy downstairs was emotionally fragile, well, he hasn't seen anything yet. This guy sucks. Like, 47 picks up a flashbang in front of him, and this guy reacts like he just witnessed the JFK assassination. Puzzled by his reaction, 47 takes another flashbang in front of him, and that guy's reaction is much more subdued this time.
Oh, heck. Oh, that's probably not good. Need to call up Cassidy.
What is everyone in this house, like, mandated to ask for permission to investigate things that are happening, like, inches away? Cassidy must be a classic micromanager. 47 had noticed that there was a remote mine in this glass case, but he has to leave because this guy's calling Cassidy for some help.
Yeah, it appears there's been some horseplay in the armory. I suggest you come here now to inspect.
Horseplay? Why were you so overwhelmed by horseplay earlier? Plus, he knows that 47 did it, and he's staring at him as he's talking to Cassidy, so he's got to be up to something. 47 waits for Nolan Cassidy to come up and investigate the armory horseplay. And the guy tells Cassidy that he didn't see who did it, that there is no trace. And he says all this while staring directly at 47. What kind of game is he playing? Things get more confusing when he ends the conversation with this.
Great. So now I've got to explain this to Cassidy.
And that's when all the bizarre behavior in this house clicks for 47. Yep, this house is filled with a bunch of fucking morons. For some reason, this renews 47's sense of purpose. Apparently killing idiots is invigorating. So after Cassidy leaves, he snatches that remote device from that armory case. He absolutely pegs him in the head with that thing, and then he blows the hell out of him. Now, 47's in this bedroom. All the noise was in the armory. But remember, this is a house filled with morons. So like 5 of them come flying into 47's room with no rhyme or reason. It reminds me of this. But this is not a cartoon, and the sheer volume of idiots is enough to overwhelm 47. But as Run 3 starts, 47 is confident that his extreme intelligence will rule the day. Unfortunately, he gets locked out of Mr. Batty's shed, and then he spends a minute trying to infiltrate this impenetrable fortress, only to realize he didn't actually have to do that because his stashed item was actually outside of the shed already. So it seems that the idiocy is rubbing off on 47. He sheepishly but efficiently takes out those cameras and then takes out the patrolling guard. But this time, he's not stealing his disguise. He's going in with the exterminator disguise. Yes, I pronounced it correctly. Just to keep things nice and spicy, 47 chooses to use explosive compound instead of the remote ducky. And then he hammers the hell out of that compound. Or is it he compounds the hell out of that hammer? I don't know. All I know is the hammer is dead. 47 clambers upstairs into this side room. But he wasn't expecting this second idiot to come into the room right after him. And then he definitely wasn't expecting this third idiot to come into the room right after the second idiot. 47 quickly silences them before they have a chance to reveal his embarrassing gaffe to anyone else. And though he completed the contract, 47 used the wrong method on 2 of them, so it wasn't really a successful mission. Let's try again. He does the normal opening stuff, like taking out cameras and taking out this guard. But then before taking out the hammer, he decides, let's try taking out the guys upstairs first. So he heads on up that downspout up to the 2nd floor, and he notes that the hammer is not limited to the 1st floor. 47 figures that he can take each of them out upstairs one at a time. So first he lets the hammer go on back downstairs, then he lets this second guard make the horrible mistake of going into this room alone. He then compounds that mistake by allowing some explosive compound to be tossed at his feet without actually reacting to it. Good God, what a damn fool. Now, the last time there was this much noise, 47 was nearly trampled by a mindless stampede. So this time, 47 decides to leave the house through the upstairs window and into the front yard, with the intention of letting the heat die down before he goes back in. He plans to just re-infiltrate the house the same way he always does, because that's a tried and true formula, but then he spots this downspout, and he can't resist this new opportunity. So 47 climbs up and goes through this window, but is detected by this camera while wearing an extremely suspicious disguise. Luckily, his 2 remaining targets treat the situation less like a hostile invasion and more like a surprise party, and they are summarily executed. But again, that's 1 target killed with the proper method and 2 targets killed improperly. So 47 leaves the map with his tail tucked between his legs. So attempt number 5, 47 inserts, does his pre-assassination warm-up, and arrives on the second floor, determined not to get spotted this time. He's going to be a freaking ninja. I mean, look at him darting through the house, avoiding detection. He's like a ghost. No one can spot him. He is in his element. No one is the wiser. No one will know he was here. Oh, crap. This guy comes into this room? 47 bumbles back out to the bathroom and is spotted by this other target. Luckily, his target is still an idiot, so he just comes and investigates without really being alarmed. So 47's able to save face by taking him out. Now, he leaves this guy for now. He plans on coming back to blow him up. To prep for the other targets, he takes out this camera, pulls down the attic ladder so he has an easy means of escape, and then takes out the camera in the armory. Smashing the armory case sets off an alarm, but no worries, he's a ninja, he'll get away. However, his version of a ninja is one that gets spotted twice and is forced to hide in this wardrobe. The Hammer arrives to investigate this strange masked man, but fails to notice that the attic ladder is now retracted when it definitely wasn't the last time he was in this room. 47 waits for the guards to stop looking for him, which is unusually quick, seeing as he was spotted stealing something from the armory. Then again, we know from before that that's not really a big deal.
Yet it appears there's been some horseplay in the armory.
So 47 heads back into that armory for a little bit more horseplay and wonders to himself, did they really not post a guard back in that armory where a masked man just shattered the glass in an attempt to steal some weapons? A house full of idiots. And 47 counts himself as one of them because he tries to use the mine on the guard who's coming back upstairs, throws it a bit too early, and blows up nothing. The Hammer comes to investigate, but is tragically killed when he mistakenly believes that a door opening on his right means that the person is on his left. 47 rushes back to that wardrobe to hide while the guards flock into the room. But he doesn't stay hidden for too long. This run feels like a complete disaster, so 47 decides screw it, jumps out of the wardrobe, and surprises the guards in the room. The guards in the room and in the hallway are fairly straightforward for 47, but for some reason killing this unconscious guard is extremely difficult for him. But I guess the important thing is he got the job done. Regardless, 47 heads downstairs, mowing down Nolan Cassidy and another guard, and then leaves the map, having again failed a bunch of his sub-objectives. So let's try again. 47 does his normal routine to start off the mission, although this time he brought a proximity mine with him because screw that stupid armory remote mine. Especially because he knows the Hammer frequents this room quite often. He preps his kill room before setting up the proximity mine right next to the door, and then he goes up the ladder to hide in the attic. It's not long before the Hammer comes on upstairs and gets absolutely hammered by that proximity mine. So my plan at this point was to wait for the heat to die down, for the investigation to stop, and then go and tackle the other two targets individually with different explosions. I didn't expect one of the targets to come directly into this room right below the open attic trapdoor. When he does, it's just a matter of tossing that explosive compound down and shooting it, which ends this guy's miserable existence. So my plan at this point was to, let the heat die down and then go and take out that third target with an explosion. But I didn't expect him to come into the room also. Man, this really is a house full of complete idiots. And it's just a matter of tossing down that remote explosive rubber ducky and killing this guy as well. That was it? All three targets killed with explosive devices, all in the same room? I thought it was going to be much harder. How did it take me 6 attempts? And how the hell did I get Silent Assassin? Did not a single soul in the rest of this house hear any one of the 3 explosions that happened just upstairs? Well, I guess it makes some sense. They probably weren't able to get the proper permissions to investigate 3 separate explosions. But you know what you don't need permission for? Liking and subscribing to my channel. I hadn't done a Hitman video in a couple months. I'd moved off to Elden Ring for a bit, but the Hitman ones are still fun, so I wanted to keep doing these. Plus, Freelancer's coming out this week, so I needed to get back into my Hitman rhythm. Anyway, thanks for watching.